almost want to let the full song play. I'm gonna take it. Uh-oh. I hear the hum. Hear the hum. Lower your volume real quick. Watch this. Done. Fixed. Wow, now I'm loud. All right. Well, hey, I fixed mics, everybody. Welcome to the, I don't know what we're going to call this. It's not Renegade Radio without John. We all know that. So, yeah, you know something? I miss my buddy, but I got to address John from, what are you, Braintree now, bro? John from Braintree. Thanks for all the help, Dick. But listen to these. We didn't ask him for help, but it's always fun to bust on John. Our buddy John Pika and I are discussing stuff. There might be something moving with the show, finally, maybe, but you don't even want to talk about it until it's done, because you know how that goes. You know what I mean? Like, you get your hopes up and you start packing, and next thing you know, boom, you're right where you was. So eventually, like I said, Johnny Boy is going to be back. But I don't know if you guys listened yesterday. I don't know. Like, this isn't like a real show. It's kind of us just talking and BSing and stuff, because I don't know. I guess the world's going to end soon, and you know, it'd be nice to talk about it with friends. And we're just thinking, have I become like that Howard Hughes without the money? Like that crazy dude that just like stays in his house and, like, you know, just envisions all these horrible things. But I guess it's because I watch the news so much, man. Way too much news. It's ridiculous. And I was watching it last night, and they broke in live. I think it was a Laura Ingraham show, which, by the way, is absolutely horrible. And if you've ever doubted if 3 to 7 from the old WMEX days could get on TV, well, it almost looks like she is. You know what I mean? Like the same amount of looks and talent and effort. Well, actually, no, Laura Ingraham puts a lot of effort in. She does. She had a great, not a great. All right, I'm going to take all that back, because I was going to say she had a great radio show, but I remember back when we were doing radio in Washington, she was down there, and wasn't that good? You know what I mean? I think it was her. It had to be her. Or it was Dr. Laura. It could have been Dr. Laura. I don't know. Either way, it sucked. But so I was watching her show last night, and she breaks in saying that an American contractor was killed over in Syria, which obviously not good. I don't know. What are you doing in Syria? That's number one. But so I guess we went and we bombed some place in Syria that obviously is being funded by Iran. So now, if you've just woken up, you see that our bases now are getting bombed by them. So they've responded in kind, which is nice. So it's a U.S. base in Syria was attacked by Iranian proxy forces after a retaliatory airstrike last night. Iran, the hell? Oh, sorry, guys. Remember, I'm all alone now. It's going to be a little wacky for a while. You want to hear that commercial? But I was going to play this from Fox, but it's nothing but a big commercial right here. But anyway, it says Iran's proxy forces launched about 7 rockets targeting U.S. bases in northern Syria today in retaliation for a U.S. defense strike last night. Says confirmed by Fox News. Oh, can't believe it. It's Fox News. In its first assessments, there are no U.S. casualties and no damage to the near base near the oil. Oh, they're bombing an oil field. This world's effed. The Defense Department said Thursday that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps crashed a UAV into a building near Hasakah in northern Syria at approximately 1:38 p.m. Local time. Then why did we only hear about it on Laura Ingraham at what is she on, like 10 to 11 p.m.? Leaving 1 U.S. contractor dead. The attack also wounded 5 U.S. service members and another U.S. contractor, according to the Syria Observation for Human Rights. Great name, but and an opposition war monitor. 2 of the Americans' strikes killed at least 8 Iranian fighters. So now we're pretty much at war with Iran. A U.S. airstrike at an arms depot in the eastern city of. You know something, man? Let's put it this way: if I pronounce this right or not, are you going to know the difference? Do you care? Are you going to say, "Well, was it near Deir ez-Zor"? No, who cares? Just say it was in Syria. All right, anyway, but it was in the eastern city of Del Erzur. I feel like Alex the news guy when I read those things. Left 6 Iranian backer fighters dead. A second U.S. bombing at a post near the town of Mayadin killed another 2 fighters, according to the observatory, which reporting local relies on Syrian contacts. So that's how, you got to make sure their contacts aren't lying. U.S. intelligence says that they crashed into a coalition base, which killed the U.S. contractor. Was of Iranian origin. So the President Biden of America authorized the military to retaliate, the Pentagon said. So So let's just put this all into perspective real quick. We're funding the Ukraine. Well, actually, no, let's back it up a little bit more. We left almost 100. Well, actually, no, it would be more. We left almost $1 trillion worth of equipment in Afghanistan. So much so that ISIS has reformed, and they put out that video showing all the equipment just a few days ago, saying that they were the second largest equipped army like on the planet because of us, something to that effect. So you have us there. We've armed these terrorists. We've given them oil fields. By the way, I like how everybody forgot about that for a while. We gave them the oil fields, so they're making a tremendous amount of money. But okay, so we're over there. We're funding the Ukraine to fight Russia. China just pretty much backed Russia by saying they're going to buy all their energy from Russia, and obviously they're going to help them out militarily. They're allies. So there's that. Then I know that the whole thing with Xi is coming to a head over here because I guess Biden won't listen. Xi went over and somehow, and you don't know if this is propaganda or not, but because it's all propaganda. I believe our side is mostly propaganda. That Putin and Xi worked out some sort of peace deal that they could bring to the Ukraine, but we're already saying no. Like America's saying no. There have been some leaks about some stories about like when all this first started with the Ukraine a while back, that I guess it was Putin basically came and said, look, we could avoid all this, just don't do certain things. And even after he invaded and paused, we said they ran out of gas. Who knows what it was? Remember when that 50-mile long convoy ran out of gas? You know what I mean? Like nobody could like go back to a BP with a can and bring some gas over and get these guys moving again. But he was trying to figure out a way to do this peacefully then. I think it was just a show of force. He said, look, here's 50 miles worth of tanks, give up already. But they're saying that Joe Biden wouldn't allow it, which once again, anytime you say Joe Biden, just take his name out and put Barack Obama or Deep State, whatever you want. Because the reality is that man, couldn't run a McDonald's at this point. He's not running the country. He's embarrassing. He's just embarrassing to watch. Every time I see him now on TV, I cringe because it's not like, people used to say Donald Trump says stupid things. No, he doesn't really say stupid things. He says harshly honest, inappropriate things. That's why you feel uncomfortable when you listen to him. If you do, a lot of people like to hate because it's, makes them feel superior or whatever. But with Donald Trump, he really didn't say that much that was wrong. It's not polite sometimes to look at something and say, well, like when a fat person, do these jeans make me look fat? No, the 100-pound, a fat make you look fat. It is what it is. And it's not nice, but it's true. And that's like when he sat down with Angela Merkel and NATO and pointed at each one of them and said, and you do this and you don't pay your dues and on and on. Everybody cringed, but it was the truth. He couldn't say the man was lying. So anyway, Biden now, is so into this Ukrainian war that yesterday we pledged another $350 million. Now, remember, what was it? A week or two before that, we pledged another $250 million. There was, this part I could be wrong on, and I know we're just throwing numbers around anyway. It doesn't matter. But I think they said we pledged another, after we pledged the $350 million, that woman with the gray hair who knows nothing about the economy and keeps calling everything transitory just because she learned a new word, came out and basically said that we were going to give another billion. But I think it was 1 to 3 billion, to be honest with you. I'm going to say 1 just to be safe. And now after the billion, we just said we're going to give another 350 million. What could you possibly have done wrong if you were Biden? Like, meaning this, nothing that you accuse them of right now, we're going to be shocked by. Like if you tell me they're pedophiles, well, something, when an old man watches his 12-year-old granddaughter shower, you probably have a sign there that something's not right. And I don't know if he just watched, I heard he did shower with her. I mean, it's just gross. It's, but you can't find those. And if you do, like I found it, a while ago, they have their faces blurred out. Now it's not the other ones that didn't have faces blurred out because they were adults. You know what I mean? But I think they had their faces blurred out because they're possibly underaged, And so if they said they did that, would you be shocked? No. Would you be shocked if you found out Joe Biden's been on a take his entire career? You know what I mean? And so are a lot of, prominent politicians. I like when people act like, oh yeah, but the Republicans are just as bad. Well, you're right. You're 100% right. No, I'm not sitting here waving the GOP flag. I don't believe in that crap. The only thing is, if right now the only places I get to vote, are these far left morons or the right, which does nothing. You know what I mean? The do nothing party or the F the country up party. And you just hope that somebody's going to come out of this mess, and lead us. And I don't even want to say lead us. How about listen to us? I think we're smart enough as a people to realize certain things. Like, I don't believe anybody would argue the fact that you should be self-sustaining as a country, because, like, I think just going through the pandemic that we just went through pretty much showed us we're too reliant on other countries rather, and companies, same thing, really. Because there was shortages in food, there was shortages in toilet paper. It was just there was shortages in medicine. Remember when the president? I'll never forget this because I was in the hospital with COVID, oxygen, couldn't breathe. First time in my life, I really thought I was. Sometimes you go, "Oh, I'm gonna die." Ha ha, tee. Oh, what a wit. But this time I really thought I was going to die. Like I really didn't think I was going to get out of that bed, which is a terrifying feeling. It's terrifying. And you just feel like crap. Like that whole, you feel like a truck hit you. Wow. Yeah. And then backed up over you again. I mean, it's just everything hurts and you're sweaty and you're really struggling just to get breath. And even when you breathe, it's not satisfying, if that makes sense. Like when you take a breath in, normally, like, you think you'd calm down after a minute. Go, oh, okay, I'm good. No, this, you would breathe in and just think, like, did I get anything? Like you just couldn't breathe. It was incredible. That's how you know this wasn't natural. It's not some cat dog up now, cat dog bat mix that somebody ate at a wet market. Shut up. But it came from a laboratory. This was horrible. And I'm watching TV, and I can't. And this is the thing. And this is how I realized how they would torture you probably if you were in like a prisoner of war. They would get you to a point where you couldn't move. And then they would put on CNN. And you just gotta sit there and listen, man. It is mind numbing how stupid these people are. But as I'm watching, President Biden comes on and starts saying that he wasn't going to send, or he recalled some of the vaccine, not the vaccine, the stuff that would treat you when you're like, I forget that, it starts with an R. I almost want to say respiratory. I don't know what the hell it is. The stuff that actually saved a lot of people's lives that now they're saying killed people. Who knows? I got lucky with it, apparently, because they gave it to me and I was better, honestly, within about 36 hours. 2 days. What's fair? 2 days? And I was, you know what I mean? Like I started coming back. And that's when they kicked you out of the hospital anyway, because, I think insurance only covers 5 days. So they had a quick fix for it. But, I'm listening to this president say that people who didn't get the vaccine shouldn't be allowed or possibly not be allowed to go to hospitals, or they should prioritize people who come in. Like if you had the vaccine and get COVID and I didn't have the vaccine and got COVID, they're going to take you over me because you're compliant. You're a good little boy. You listen to what the government says, when in all reality, now I think, just recently, the fifth pilot just dropped dead. But there are these young people, the athletes, actors, rappers, just regular people that you don't hear about because you're hearing about the big famous people. You're not hearing about the average kid, but they're just dropping dead and everybody's acting like, well, that's peculiar. Well, wait, what did they say? There was an actor recently, he died 60 years old of natural causes. Come on. You know what I mean? He's a thin guy. He wasn't a big fat guy. If he was a big fat guy, you'd say, okay, well, he doesn't take care of himself. This guy looked like he took care of himself. Thin, relatively in shape, 60, that's young, out of natural causes, everybody. Was he vaccinated? Yeah, he was, but that has nothing to do with anything. It's incredible, to say the least. But what's going on right now is you have this whole Russia, Ukraine, us funding it. We have given a ton of our equipment. Obviously, we gave it to Afghanistan, left it there. We keep giving the Ukraine anything they want. Plus money, plus the fact that we just hit the debt ceiling, in December, and they had to extend it, and they're like, we're gonna have to extend it again. But I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Well, how about you take back the $100 billion you just put away in the Ukraine? What about the almost $1 trillion worth of equipment that you left in Afghanistan? Mike Pompeo, I'm not happy with. Quite a few of them, that are pushing this Ukrainian war on us, saying it's our duty. It's our duty. Listen, man, I look at TV and I go online, the ones you haven't censored, and I see people talking about there are tens of thousands of people running into this country. You don't know who they are. I lived through 9/11. A lot of us did. There's terrorism all over the world. We've been very, very lucky in this country that we didn't have it for so many years. And when we did, like the Timothy McVeighs, the homegrown idiots, and then 9/11. So it was very rare that it happened here. I mean, the poor people over in Israel. I mean, it's every day, you know what I mean? Like something's blowing up somewhere, but here, not so much. But that's because we tried as best you can to make sure we knew who was coming in. Were they legal? Were they criminals? Are they on terrorist watch lists? And people act like that terrorist watch list is nothing. Oh, you could get on that for saying, the word, F on Twitter. No, not really. This is a little more. The fact that we have a southern border that's open now, and they've caught, I think it's 19 of them so far this year. Last year it was in the 70s. Before that it was, and they're just talking about the ones they caught. How many of them that, that just get through? Most people aren't. There's a diversionary tactic that they're doing when they come over, by the way, in case people didn't notice. A whole bunch of people will go up to where the border guards are. I think there's one for every 10,000 people. And the other people, while the border guards are busy, just walk right by or get driven right through. We have a ton of people now, especially now when we're going what looks to be a war with Iran. Okay. They sponsor terrorism, everybody. And now you're going to take them on after you've left our border open for 2 years. How many of them are here already? When you got rid of ISIS and all that stuff, you don't think somebody held a grudge, or do you think they all just went, all right, well, hell of a fight, guys, but that's done. All right, what are we doing now? What do you want to do now? They're still a little pissed off, and we left our borders open. It is crazy. So once again, we're fighting Iran. We got something going on now with Russia through the Ukraine. China is backing Russia, which not good. Because think about who our allies are, by the way. Our allies were buying energy from the enemy, giving them all that money. People go, it's not a big deal. Well, it's a big deal because it helps your economy. It's money. It's what you're supposed to do. If I'm protecting you, and I'm selling something, well, buy it from me, not my competitor, stupid. But that's what they did. There's no backup whatsoever. And this is how, once, and I always say, I feel like I took a massive bong hit and somebody said, look, this stuff is crazy. You can take a hit and wow. And then you're going to come back and be like, whoa, if that makes any sense. But I feel like I took a bong hit. I'm living this bizarre alternate life. And when I come back, I'm just going to look at my friend and go, wow, we're still in the parking lot. And I'm 16 years old? Wow, that is good shit. Because Joe Biden went up to Canada yesterday and talked to Trudeau, and they're talking about sealing up the northern border, the border between the United States and Canada. Look, I know people are coming over there too. All borders should be sealed. But right now, do you have any videos of thousands of people rushing the border in Canada, coming this way? No, but I saw one the other day, last week actually, of people that just got pissed off waiting. So thousands of them just rushed the border guards and just ran right past them. There was nothing they could do, and they act like, well, we caught some of them. Yeah, but you didn't catch a lot of them, all diversionary. It's crazy what's going on right now. And I mean, the news, I think, is making me crazy. You know what I mean? It is absolutely making me crazy. I'm just checking the chat room for the first time to figure all this crap out myself. But yes, I see our buddy Steve is there. Hey, Steve, long time no see. I hope you guys catch up a little bit about what's going on. John, now you're going to be doing a show for a little while. Like he's got to do his full-time gig. But he will be back, obviously. And we're actually do have a little something. My eyes are too bad. So, low-hanging fruit. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. When we learn that, and this is why I don't think I'm shocked by this whole Canada border, northern border thing, because I think most people with any common sense whatsoever, how many borders do you have? You have the 2 by land and 2 by sea, basically. Then you got obviously Hawaii and all that, but whatever. I'm talking about, just the 48. They should all be sealed, all of them, not just one, not just 2, not just saying, well, the water will seal those 2. Okay, I mean, because Cubans never have come over in rafts. People don't just show up on boat. That doesn't happen. And then once again, you see that you have your northern and your southern border. I don't like Michael Moore. The man makes me physically nauseous when I hear him talk or whine or just look at him. He's such a slob. I hate the guy. Actually, I don't hate the guy. I don't hate anybody, but I can't. I hate what he says. I can't. It irritates me. It grates on me. But he did. I got to hand it to him. He did expose one thing that I thought was terrifying, and that was during. It was in Fahrenheit 9/11. If you want to see it, I'm sure he doesn't get any money for it now. No thought of there should be some sort of security. There should be once again, if you have half a brain in your head, you think, okay, look, this country, once again, is pretty much bucking the system, by the way, because there's a lot of communism, there's a lot of socialism, there's a lot of just craziness going on in this world. So we kind of buck the system with this whole freedom thing, with this, no, the government can't do that. You have to do that. But to say because of the First Amendment, it sucks, but he's right. You have the right to say you do. He has the right to say he doesn't. It is what it is. But that's why when you start they're electing Satanists now, which is like there's a Satanist, like there's a Satan statue outside one of the courthouses. They take down "In God We Trust" and they put up a Satanist statue. So you have like this odd thing in this country where freedom is great, but it also it's very, very fragile because it could go either way. And you take a socialist like, let's say, Bernie Sanders, right? Who's an admitted socialist. Pictures of him with eating dinner with communists. I mean, just at his wedding mat and all that stuff. Just ridiculous. But he does have the right to run in this country. He does. Everybody does. That's the problem. And it's a problem because freedom's great, but it could be abused very quickly. And that's why there has to be some security in there. And I don't trust the government enough, but I mean, I think the government isn't to tell you what to do. I think the government is to shore up your borders and provide you with a country that is going to have food and energy and all that stuff. And now, being in a capitalist society, you have to go work for the money to earn this stuff, to buy this stuff, to have it if you want it, but you're going to have to work for it. It's not just going to be handed to you because that's not the way things work. But and then you pay, they rape you on taxes, which is funny too, because people with the taxes, it is hilarious that I was talking to a woman yesterday who's a hardcore Democrat, and she was saying that her daycare, she used to be able to write off a certain amount and whatever, and now she can only write off like a third of it. And she's like, and it's like that with everything. And then she was talking about how everything that was covered on her insurance kind of got cut, and the money went up, but everything is down. And I'm thinking, but you'll vote for Liz Warren the next time Liz Warren runs. You'll vote for Joe Biden. You will. It's just you don't know why you will. You're living through hell because of them, but they can't admit they're wrong. I mean, God forbid they're wrong. I mean, it's at some point you're starting to see at some point even these wacky liberals say something almost that makes sense, because we're coming to the end of the road of these things. We're coming to the road like you make bad decisions, there are consequences, man, and consequences don't wait a long time. So something, you come in, and for some reason, like, think about how dumb this is. If you become president in January, and in January on like the 21st, and on the 22nd, say something like, something, I'm done with the gas things. Shut off all the oil now, right this second, turn it off. I want that done, and I want everybody to have electric cars. No planning, no crossover, just nothing. Just, I want it, and this is going to happen. Even the dumbest of people would realize that is going to be a horrific jolt to a very tender economy, sensitive economy. Think about the stock market. Anything could make the stock market go up or down now. It's just it's incredibly volatile. It's nuts, actually. And it used to be very secure, by the way. If it moved 10 points in a day, people will go, holy crap, what a great day. Now it could go up 1,000, down 1,000, and people are like, oh, it's just nuts. Everybody's losing money. It's what he's done to the economy off these decisions. But then you talk to somebody who voted for him, and they deny that, or they'll try to blame Trump, which is, I used to say, when they would try to blame Obama for something, here's the difference between blame and taking responsibility. Blaming is saying it's Trump's fault. Well, how is it Trump's fault? Because he was the last guy. His policies. What policy? They don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? But taking responsibility is Obama. Cops couldn't do crap, and there were videos of these cops that would get out of their cars in the Bronx trying to, stop a mugging or something, and all of a sudden they get surrounded by these kids who are throwing water and batteries and rocks and just, dumping stuff over their heads. There was zero respect for the cops, and that's because if you remember that there was I believe it was a BLM thing before it was technically BLM. I don't know, but it was there was the snipers going on in Texas, and there was this march going on, and the cops were there to protect these protesters, and this sniper started shooting people. Not just cops, people. So the cops, like one guy actually, like I think the woman said it was a woman and her child, that he kind of like shielded them, and he wound up getting shot. And what happens? Our president kind of shows up at the ceremony and turns it into a, this wouldn't happen if you knew the community's better speech, and an anti Second Amendment speech. The Second Amendment is probably, I like how everybody acts like it's such a crazy thing to talk about or think about, or because it's very sensitive. People are crazy. Something, look, the only people that follow the law, okay, that they're going to make are law-abiding citizens, okay? And we are protected as long as we follow that law, and that's a problem too, because you put these crazy ones in that all of a sudden, like, this caliber is going to be, it shall not be infringed. upon. That's you don't have they don't have the right to infringe upon that right that we're allowed, because if I do things legally, you know my name, you have my picture, you have my fingerprints, you know what gun I own. Every time I buy a gun, I register it with you. If anything happens with that gun, it's my fault. I get it. That's a responsible person who is following your laws and, entitled to have that gun by the Second Amendment. They make these laws acting like these criminals are going to go, damn, I'd really like to shoot somebody, but ever since the Democrats put that new gun law in there, can't get them anywhere. Criminals don't normally buy guns, register them to their names, and then go commit crimes with them. Okay, they usually get them hot off the street. Like if you've watched old NYPD Blue episodes, sometimes they'd even scrape the serial number off, so you couldn't tell whose gun it was after they chucked it into the Hudson River. It's just these people are crazy. They don't have any common sense. They're the whole distraction thing that's going on right now is, like I said, we have World War III literally brewing. As I'm watching the screen over here, more and more pictures of our military getting ready to really pound the snot out of Iran. Like this is crazy. This is craziness. And a lot of it is, well, something, we really shouldn't be there anyway. But they're saying, as President Biden has made clear, we will take all necessary measures to defend our people and will always respond at a time and a place of our choosing, said Secretary Austin. He continued, no group will strike our troops with impunity. Our thoughts are with the families and colleagues. This is the line that they should just be able to walk away from the mic and have like it on tape. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and colleagues of the contractor who was killed and those who were wounded in the attack earlier today. The Pentagon said they took will take proportionate and deliberate action. This is by the doddering guy who can't even figure out which side of the stage to walk off of or whose hand to shake. Like this is silly. They're saying that we have over 900 troops stationed in Syria at the time. Craziness, man. We are in a lot of trouble, guys. We are in a lot of trouble, and you bring it to like I keep hoping somebody's going to step up and stop this, but instead of saying, hey, something, Trump, had these guys in line. Let's see what he had going on. They go arrest them, which, by the way, today grand jury don't work on Friday. So I guess what they put it off on Wednesday, put it off on Thursday. They don't work today. Alvin Bragg saying nothing about it. He now, I guess, I don't know if you guys heard, he's trying to turn it into the GOP and Jim Jordan in particular are trying to threaten him and intimidate him into not doing his job. So now it's going to turn into that. They're going to act like, you see, this is a great way out for him. He's got to drop it because of the pressure he's getting from Washington. He doesn't want to drop it, everybody. He would fight it to the end. And he tried, but, Washington. And he gets to keep his job and right now. I mean, he looks like a dick, to be quite honest with you, because, if I don't like President Obama's politics, obviously I don't know. It was so long ago, I can almost not remember how great it was. Like, I remember going to doctors and it was $5 for the visit. No, I'm sorry. It was $10 for the visit. And then any prescription I got was $5. Some free, but normally $5. Phenomenal. I could do anything I want. It was phenomenal. Then I had to get Obamacare. And all of a sudden my doctor went from being 10 miles away, the guy I went to forever, to, 25 miles away. It just and horrible service. You couldn't get appointments because they're overloaded. Just really killed everything. But point is, you have a guy like Obama who I think everything the man's done was horrible. I think Trump came in and corrected a lot of things. They're going to say that Obama started them, and some this way, if he had his hand in it and it turned out good, okay, give him credit. I'm fine with that. Yes, thank you. But I know that there's a lot more that you didn't. I know my life was a lot worse off when you were in office than not. And it has nothing to do with his color, stupid. I hate when you see that's the out that everybody uses. That's what's annoying. And they've gotten to the point now where they're so used to saying everything is racist that they're making everything racist. Somebody was talking about how yesterday they were talking to the CEO, asking questions of the CEO of TikTok. And there was one of our politicians came out like a moron and started saying that people banning or warning other people about China and TikTok are doing it only because they're racist. And he said, why don't you say that about Facebook or Twitter? They're so used to using that racist response to everything that they're making everything racist. They sound like idiot. When they started calling Ben Carson a white supremacist, Okay, that's what they called him, a white supremacist. Then they obviously they go into other derogatory terms, and you're like, wow, that's incredible. You're talking about a man who literally is the most soft spoken man I've ever seen in politics, by the way. But he's a genius. He's a literal brain surgeon. That I guess he was the guy that did the surgery on the twins that were connected by the head successfully, and it's just amazing how brilliant the man is. Everything he does, like he seems to do it because he cares, and they rip him apart. That's what I'm saying. It's bizarro world. Everything is backwards in this country now. It's just, and I think it's because we've elected the enemy. And of course, what we want is prosperity. What they want is, demise. These people hate the country. How many kids do you hear saying that, by the way? I know it sounds crazy. I mean, and yeah, on TV you see it a lot. But when I worked at that dispensary, I remember talking to these kids that were in their early 20s, and they would say stuff like, there was this one kid, I wanted to smack him. He said, yeah, America, China, I don't care, man. It's just dirt under my feet. Don't care about none of it. I'm thinking, yeah, stupid. But do you realize that if this was China dirt under your feet, you would be assigned a job, assigned a home. You'd never, I mean, you'd be a robot. You wouldn't be able to, think about the man, and smoke pot and, what are you, stupid? You smoke pot and they kill you. You do anything with it. It's not like here, dummy. The whole point of this country is the freedom that we have. And that's why the lack of respect for it. And there's no value. They put no value to it. That's why I think, a lot of people they just don't care, and we've elected them into office where you have AOC yesterday, again, calling something racist. She's just like the fact that you have to call this woman and say that she is, a representative, she think about that. AOC is a U.S. House rep. Holy crap. She's a moron. She said she was, AOC was criticized by conservatives on social media Thursday after she alleged that Republican sponsors Parents' Bill of Rights being considered is fascist. Oh, fascist and racist. Okay, there you go. The bill seeks to strengthen parents' knowledge of and all involvement in their kids' education. So how is that fascist? If you say, hey, I want to know what you're teaching my kid. See how backwards? You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden caring about what your kid learns is a thing. And that's because socialist, communists, they take your kids and they do what they want. They educate them the way they want. The kid, and we don't think about it, but think about 18-year-olds now, okay? If you've met any, or young kids now, you see them working around, whatever. And 18-year-olds when you were around that age, the difference is amazing. It's just, it's crazy. They think, I remember getting up, I put my hand over my heart, saying the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. You had to. And it was a big honor because every once in a while, because it would go around the room, you would get to lead the class in the Pledge of Allegiance. It was a big deal. You were taught if the flag hit the ground, well, you're supposed to burn it. Like, yeah, you can't disrespect it. You can't just throw it in the garbage. You burn it out of respect. And people go, oh, it's just a flag. No, stupid. It's what it represents. But they can't think that far unless it's on their side. It's absolutely nuts. They're just crazy. But AOC now is calling the bill fascist. Let's see, Kevin McCarthy, who I got to tell you, I wasn't about in the beginning. I think I was pretty indifferent, and I thought like he seemed like an okay guy, but he also seems like he could be on the take too. He could be a Lindsey Graham. You know what I mean? Like he could these warmongers who just go where the money is. Like they don't care. Lindsey Graham will say anything. And I think of Mike Pompeo as this way. Now, once again, I hate saying that, man, because I really did like Mike Pompeo. But, here's the difference between us and other people. Like when we are shown something, we go, oh, that does suck. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. Like I like Mike Pompeo, but I certainly don't agree with the man on war. I don't think that we should be arming the Ukraine with all this money and equipment and getting involved in this proxy war, because that's all it is. With Russia, I think it's dangerous. I think we're too weak right now. I don't think we should be taking on China. I don't think we should be bombing Iran right now, especially after, let's put it this way, you got contractors out there, if that's what that really was. You're going into the jungle and you're getting bit by a tiger and then bitching that the tiger bit you. You know what I mean? Like, get out of there. What are you doing in Syria? They have a right. No, here or where the rights are, in America where the rights are. Over there, you play by their rules. You think people that live in Israel, like, every time they get on a bus, hoping the thing don't blow up, they go to these friggin', open markets and they get bombed. I mean, it's horrible what's happening out there, but we act like, well, even terrorists have rights. That's earlier when we were talking about how, how fragile and how silly sometimes freedom is. we give terrorist rights. We gave Timothy McVeigh rights. We gave the people. I think on Guantanamo they withheld them somehow, but then they built them a soccer pitch, and I hate saying that, like I know what that means. It's a soccer field, but I wanted to throw in the technical term there. But we built that. Everybody had to have the Quran. They had to have a certain diet. They had to be able to face a certain way. Why? Oh, well, look, yeah, I know they wanted to kill a whole bunch of Americans and really have your country fail and just mass murder and all that stuff. But they can't eat meat. It's not my fault. They can't have meat and bread. What are you talking about? Like we are just a very silly bunch of people. And yet, once again, this is how you know where we are. We have people that have been in jail since January 6th, that haven't even gone to trial yet. Do you know how terrifying that is? Think about what that is. Like that one will scare the crap out of you, because in all reality, something, you have rights in this country. When this country was this country, you have rights. You are entitled to see a lawyer. You're entitled to know what you're charged with. You're entitled to a speedy jury. I mean, like a trial, rather. You are entitled to be heard in front of your peers and judged by them. You're entitled to these things, But if they call you a domestic terrorist, you're not. Some of these people, come on, like the old lady. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she shouldn't have went in. None of them should have went in. Stupid. Just stupid. You got to look around, sometimes and have a little better judgment. And I agree with that. Do I think their lives should be wrecked? No. Stop. The violent ones, sure, throw them in jail. Absolutely. If you could tell me who they are, because I'll tell you something. I've seen a lot of them, and to me, it still looks very bizarre, because if you remember what happened a few weeks before January 6th, when it was Antifa, because they were allowed on Facebook, because why wouldn't they be? You better not post that joke, but Antifa's allowed to have a Facebook page and a Twitter page. Why not? They were saying to people, dress up like Trump supporters, wear American flag hats and shirts and the red hats and blah, 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 and go start trouble. It was there. We talked about it on the air that day that we saw it, because it was on, I think, Fox at one point, and it just said that, like Antifa is encouraging all this stuff. January 6th pops up, a whole bunch of people breaking windows, and you're like, what are they doing? Like, why? What's the point of this? I know that they said that over 12 laptops were stolen. Never heard about that again, but I heard 12 laptops were stolen, right? But we're not worried about that. We're worried about the old lady that was walking in between the velvet ropes, looking around, taking selfies because she, made the wrong decision. It's kind of crazy, man. It's weird that those people are not entitled to the same benefits that a lot of terrorists that are held are. I think we gotta assess what's going on. And a lot of stuff, like I said, that is going on is stupid. It's a lot of it's anti-American. It doesn't make sense. And for Biden to come out and say, yes, Trudeau and I have decided that we're going to shore up this northern border, while our southern border is just hemorrhaging. Is just, what is that? Is that to placate people? Is that to get you to shut up for a minute? Because that is nuts, man. That is absolutely crazy. All right, well, I'm rambling anyway. Well, I just wanted to jump on today because I'm going to start getting some clips. I think I'm going to add a phone, because I can only talk to myself for so long that I was just being totally bored by it. So, and I'm sure you guys can agree. And once again, hopefully John will be back soon. I might even try to do like a different channel so this doesn't get confused between Renegade and whatever. Because once again, this is just us kind of hanging out talking. But on Monday, I'll try to get some clips and stuff, and I'm going to try to get on here about 9. I'm going to say 9. At times, yes, it might be a little later, but go over to the Renegade Radio page, and I'll post stuff there, and that will keep you kind of abreast of what's going on. I think it's Renegade or Ren Radio. I don't know if that's, or if it's Renegade _ or Ren crew, who cares? Just go to our whatever. You'll find us. I think there's a link on Facebook. But thanks, guys, for hanging out. I really, really enjoy babbling with you guys, and I miss doing this stuff. And like I said, John will be back as soon as possible. Hopefully, whatever. Hopefully something good happens with the other thing. You just don't want to jinx it by saying anything, but hopefully something good will happen. If not, we'll always be here, and we'll talk about hopefully funnier things than the end of the world. But once again, I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend, and thanks again. Bye.